Welcome to the opening of the HippoLogic Clicker Training Academy. I'm super excited because this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. Because my focus and my goal is to make positive reinforcement accessible for everybody. That was something that I was longing for when I started using clicker training. That's way long ago in the 90s. I heard of it, and I started really using it in about 1999. Welcome to the live thing. I will mute everybody because I will get some background noise. Or if you can mute yourself, please do that, because otherwise we will get a lot of background information. Sound. Okay, let's concentrate. The Clicker Training Academy, I wanted to be accessible for everybody else because that was what I was lacking. I was lucky to have two people in my network that were using clicker training and that were excited to experiment and that were excited to share their information with me. There was no really developed internet. In 1999, there was no clicker training on the internet. There was a Yahoo email group, and that's how I started. But everybody was talking science, and it was in English. English is not my first language, so I was super scared to ask questions. But I learned a lot. What's today's program? Introductions. I will tell who I am. We already did some introductions. Then I will talk about the opening of the HippoLogic Clicker Training Academy, which makes me really exciting. And then I will offer a mastermind clicker training. Today's topic is riding with positive reinforcement, because I know that's something that a lot of people struggle with, how to really implement it. And that's where my specialization lies. It's not only in clicker training the horses, but it's focused on teaching people to implement it, because I see that's a big struggle, and that's why I developed a home study program and now the Clicker Training Academy. The bonus today is assessment for clicker trainers. That's where you can assess where you have some learning points, so that will be fun, and a Q&A. So, why stay today? Positive reinforcement is all about the learner, and the Clicker Training Academy is all about you. So please say hi in the chat box where you're from, because I would love to hear where you're from. Oh, that was such a great question. And then, yeah, I couldn't find my chat box anymore. Ah, from Georgia. Karen is from Georgia. Welcome. From Nebraska, Nachi. From Denmark, Sarah. Hi, nice to meet you. Hilda from Norway. Caro from Germany. Welcome. Catherine from Ohio. Oh, I'm so excited to see so many people of all places. Yeah, that really. Patricia from Spain, welcome. See if everybody has said, ooh, okay, scrolling, okay. Do not scroll with your mouse. Okay, let's talk about introductions. Welcome everybody, my name is Sandra Poppema. I have a bachelor in animal management. One of my major was wildlife management and zoos. There's not many zoos in the Netherlands. There was only 11, and most of those people who worked there were non-paid employees. So that was not a field. So I got back after animal management to work with my passion, and that's horses. And the other passion is horse people. And teaching is also one of my passions. I became a certified riding instructor. I already gave riding lessons before that. Because in the Netherlands it's not here like in Canada, where you have that liability that is really a burden for instructors. I started doing centered riding because that was more about the rider and how to teach the rider in balance, because if the rider is in balance, the horse can walk, and then you don't have to focus on patching up like the symptoms. I'm the founder of HippoLogic, and I started in the Netherlands as a private riding instructor because I found it very difficult to really teach people how to ride properly in a group, because you have the horses that have their agenda, you have the riders with their agenda, and the instructor with an agenda. So I started doing one-on-ones, and then I started also doing clinics, horse training, horse behavior, because I saw that there was a lot of lack of knowledge, and that if you know more, you can do better. So that's how I started out. I'm an awarded horse training blogger. I blog purely about positive reinforcement, and I am super proud that 3 years ago I was awarded with the top 75 horse bloggers from all horse bloggers. So I was in the top 75 between like the NH natural horsemanship gurus there. So that was really excited to be in there, and I've been 2 years in a row in the top 10 of SavvyHorsewoman.com. So I'm super excited. I published 3 books, 2 about other animals and 1 about the key lessons. That's my ebook. You can find it on my website. And I tamed and trained a wild horse in 2009. That's Kira. You can see her here. She's born in 2008. She was 1 year and totally feral. And that's really my turning point, where I really decided to switch over to positive reinforcement only. And I took a vow, if I don't know how to do it with positive reinforcement, I will just take a break and find out before I go on. And that was like super hard, but I'm learning and I'm learning. So that's what I've been doing the last 10 years, focusing on purely positive reinforcement. So that's exciting. Hello, Alexandra. I'm Alexandra from Dawson Creek, BC. Welcome, Alexandra. Alexandra is a great person. She's a professional, and she does saddle fitting, and she will do something for the community. So I'm really excited to have you here, Alexandra. I will talk about all the professionals that I will invite later. If I forget, please remind me, because that's not in my notes to talk about. Yeah, so Kira really made me turn around to 100% positive reinforcement. I did already have clicker training experience from, well, 10 years. So I was using both. So I know how it feels to use both, and I know what kind of a struggle it can be to use both sometimes. So, and I'm here to share my expertise with you. Welcome, Trude. I'm doing a recording, so if you don't want to be in the recording, please mute yourself and keep your camera off. But welcome. I just want you to know, welcome to the webinar. What's in it for you today? I'm all about positive reinforcement, and I often get lately the compliment that I use positive reinforcement on humans as well. And that's really, I love that compliment, because that is really such a great thing that that people feel it that way, because it reinforcement is all about how the learner experiences it. Because if I think it's great, then it doesn't mean that the learner thinks it's great. I hear some background noises. I'm not sure. Oh, it's Trude. I think I'll mute you. Sorry. So today I have for the winner, I will pull one name out of this. I already put some names in there for the early people who were there. I will just Tony's in there. I will make sure that everybody who wants to win the $1,100 8-week course will be in here, and then I'll just do a live draw. We'll see how it goes. So that will take some time, because depending on how many people I hear. So stay until the end, and then I do the draw. If you're not here, I'll just draw somebody else, because I want people in that course that are really dedicated, because it's a very intensive course. You get lots and lots of value out of it. Caro has done it, she's here. Hilda has done it, she's here. I've seen them develop so beautifully, and I'm really, really proud of both of you. Okay, the first 25 members that sign up in the HippoLogic Academy, it's very small. I've been doing this, and it started as an accountability program. So 6 people are in there, so it's really a small community, but a really loving, warm, supportive, super cool community that I would like to share with more people. The first 25 new members will get a free 90-minute private coaching session with me. Why do I do that? The people in the group all got in the group after taking a course, after taking a 2-week HippoLogic Clicker Challenge, after online coaching, so they already knew me. They will get a coaching session too, because I'm all about honesty and sharing. So I can imagine that this is a membership program. So I can imagine that it is really difficult to sign up for something that you don't know the value of. And that's why I'm giving a masterclass, so you get to know me a little bit more. So I will give you a free additional 1.5-hour coaching session. It's online, it's on Zoom. I see that you can already use Zoom, so check. The membership will be $39 a month, and the first month with the coupon code is $19. If you sign up just for 1 month for $19, you still get your 90-minute private coaching session, even if you cancel, because my focus is to get people in the group that are dedicated and that are a fit. If it's not a fit, it's not for you, and you're free to go. I'm all about freedom at liberty. So get $20 off the membership with the coupon code Launch Party. If you want to sign up today, you can go to clickertraining.ca and find the button Clicker Training Academy, sign up, join. So then the first month will be $19, and the first 25 people will get an additional 90-minute coaching session. Today I will have a masterclass, and then I will have an Ask Me Anything. I decided instead of Q&A, Clicker Training, Ask Me Anything. So we'll see how priceless that will be. I just like interaction. So welcome. Let's stay on the notes. So the reason that I'm launching and opening the Clicker Training Academy is thanks to my business accountability mentor partner, Georgie Lowe from Decide Your Life, because I'm talking about this for a year, and she held me accountable and she supported me in doing this. So that's why I'm doing a live webinar. So let's talk about what's different about Clicker Training Academy Cta from other programs, because I'm all about clarity, and I will let you know upfront what my focus is. My focus is personal feedback. That has been my focus because it was an accountability for your personal goals. Patricia knows that, Hilda knows that, and all the other people there know that. You get tailored advice on your training videos. That's why I like a smaller community, so I can give you tailored advice, because I think that's the only way to really implement it. You can watch a lot of how-to videos, and they're super valuable. They absolutely have their place in a community, so I will add them, more of them. But sometimes it's nice to see a video, you know how to do it, you go to your horse, and your horse reacts totally different. So you get stuck again. So that's why I offer tailored advice on your training videos. I find it very important that people develop. My aim is to make everybody else a better clicker trainer than me, because they don't have to go through the learning process of 20 years. I will just package it for you, and you can learn from my mistakes. We have Motivation Monday and Celebration Sunday, and those are favorite highlights of the week, because in Motivation Monday I always ask, what are you planning to work on, and also what's your struggle. So if you are stuck Motivation Monday, I will help you with your and give you tailored advice. Then 6 days later, it's time to celebrate, because if you celebrate your wins and you're focused on what went well, you get more of what went well. Celebration Sundays is super inspirational, because then we hear all about all the goals that are accomplished. We see videos, and it's very amazing. The Clicker Training Academy is focused on teaching for you, learning concepts, so you can become an autonomous trainer. I don't want to be there and hold your hand forever and say, now do this, now do that, now do that. That's instruction, that's not coaching. I would love to teach you the concepts, so you know, oh, my horse is not going into the trailer. It can be because something else is more reinforcing, his friends, because he's hurt-bound, or maybe he's fearful. So those different motivations, that's the principles of learning and motivation, will ask for different solutions, and the solutions will be horse focused. So that's why there's no one solution for trailer loading. In traditional, you might just use a whip or a lunge line to force the horse into it, and then it doesn't matter what his motivation is for not going in there. I would love you to learn the focus and implement the concepts. So that's really powerful. I'm there to hold you personal accountable to accomplish your own goals if you want that. I'm focusing on implementing the training, and it's a small and supportive community. We are with less than 10 people at the moment. I hope that it will grow, but my focus is not to get thousands of people in there, because I really want to keep it personal. So that's also a reason why I'm closing registration on August 31st. So you have about 2 weeks to decide if you want to try it out. The Academy, it's built on 3 pillars. Those are very important. First one is learning. The second one is practicing. And the third one is, of course, community. And I will explain why. So what information, what learning are we focused on in the Clicker Training Academy? Horse behavior, of course, because we work with horses, but also human behavior. What motivates you? How do you learn? If you know how what's your favorite learning method, then the more you know about yourself and about how you learn, the better learner you can become. Welcome, Alexandra. Another Alexandra. I'm doing a recording, so if you don't want to be in the recording, please mute yourself and do not turn on your video, but you're welcome to turn on your video because I like to see faces. So the Clicker Training Academy, human behavior, self-knowledge. The more you know about yourself, the better learner you can become, the more results you will be getting. And then the third one is the science, and that's about the science of the principles of learning and motivation, and also the science about horses, horse behavior, because I know a lot of clicker trainers that are professional dog trainers and struggle to implement clicker training when they are with their horse. And that's because they don't have enough knowledge of the concepts. They know how to teach a horse, a dog to lay down, but not a horse to lay down. It's the same behavior, but because the target animal is different, you need to know about horse behavior. So your training approach will be different. So that's the science that is very important in the Clicker Training Academy. Then we have practice, because only by practicing, so what does practice entail for me in the Clicker Training Academy? Planning. I will teach you how you can plan your training, and that sounds really, really boring, maybe for some of you, but I noticed the better you can plan, the easier it is to really go to the barn and do what's in your head. It's really hard to read maybe on my screen. Planning is this one, action, taking action, because the action will get you to your results. Because if you're just staying at home, reading the book, watching the videos, you will not get the experience. It's all knowledge. And then here on the bottom is improvement. I find it very important that people develop and improve. And it's not only about the results. I have my values here. Number one is I don't think you can read it, but number one is honoring the horse. Always make it a win-win is the yellow part. The orange part is have fun. And then 4 is results. Results are important, but not at all costs. So, but I do think it's important to, I just like learning, I like development. If you don't like that, this is not for you. Let's keep it with that. What about the community? The community is about fun. Horses are a hobby for most of us, and we love to be with horses. So fun is very, very important, and also in our community. Because life is short and we want to enjoy it while we can. Support is another very important pillar in the community, because we all suffer from procrastination. Some more than others, but if you have a plan, it's you feel it, because then you have a plan and maybe a kind of a timeline depending on the horse, and then you feel like procrastination. But if you don't have a plan, you don't know where you're going, and then we all have this, like, we need support because we have a lack of confidence. That's because we're human. I suffer from a lack of confidence if I don't have clarity and I don't have a plan, and I don't know, if I have the feeling that I'm not knowing what I'm doing, then I'm insecure, I'm nervous. So with support, you can take that away. And also sometimes you have a lack of knowledge, and if you have a community, there's always somebody to ask. So what's important? I'm excited about Venn diagrams because the overlap is important. What do you get if you have learning and community together? You get motivation, the Motivation Monday, because it's super interesting to see what others do in the community. So it will, it's exciting because it motivates you. Oh, Patricia's doing this. Oh, Hilde is accomplishing that. And that gives inspiration as well. If you have learning and practice your book knowledge, and then you go to the barn and try it out, you get experience. That's number 2. Experience is super important because that will bring us towards our goal. And then the third one is inspiration ideas. If you have the overlap between practice and your community, you will get so inspired. Celebration Sundays are always very inspiring for me, and there's multiple ways to roam. So maybe there's one challenge that we all participate in, and then this person solves it this way, and that person solves it that way. And then even if you cannot solve it, you will be inspired because you see that there's so many ways. There's not one way, there's so many ways. So, and that really creates new ideas, and you need a community for that. Brainstorming by yourself, it's really not so effective as being in a group and having support. And what do you get in the middle? You get an amazing life for horse people, that is. If you're not a horse person, you may be not excited to learn about horses and to plan about training your horse. So let's see what's next. So let's talk about if this is for you, because I really want to be clear. If you want to start developing your positive reinforcement skills, for me, it started with horses. Then I practiced on other people, and I'm now practicing it on me, which makes my life amazing. Do you want personal feedback and tailored advice? I'm on top of things and very active in the group, and I also often, if people have questions, I just do a Facebook Live, because for me, with English as my second language, sometimes it's quicker just to hop on the camera and just explain my advice to you. Sometimes I make tailored horse training videos to have even more explanation, and that's where the step-by-step do-it-yourself videos come from. It feels really, really good to have a community, and that's also a lot of horse people struggle with, because the majority of the horse world is still based on negative reinforcement. It can be really hard to be the only person in the facility, in the stall or boarding facility that uses positive reinforcement, because what people see is what they know. What they don't know, they don't see. So they do see treats because they know feeding a carrot is feeding treats, but what they don't see, because they have never have the focus on that, is that you get improvements. The behavior, you get better behavior. You create more behavior of what you want. And because they have never learned to look at horses that way, they don't see that part. So it can be really hard to live amongst traditional horse people. And we all want to bond with our horse, I assume. If you do not want to bond with your horse, this is not for you, because honoring the horse and creating a strong bond with your horse is an ongoing thing to work on. If you don't like horses that much, or you prefer results above honoring the horse, this will not be for you. What not to expect. don't expect hundreds of hours of videos. First of all, it started in 2017 as an accountability program, so there was not like all the do-it-yourself videos. I will offer more of them, but don't expect right now hundreds of hours of videos. There's another reason for me not to have that right away, accessible, because it creates overwhelm, and that creates fear of failure, because you cannot do 100 hours of videos. And if you do that, you stay stuck on your chair. And I want you in the barn. I want you with your horse. I want you to implement it. So don't expect hundreds of hours of videos yet, because we are starting. It's a new community, and it will also be formed to what the members want and need. Don't expect only to get general feedback or information. I do put links in there if I've written about a topic to my blog. That's why I started blogging. But you don't only get that general feedback, because and don't expect to become a number, and also don't expect to improve your skills and become a master clicker trainer without doing the work. You have to practice. Only action leads to accomplishment. So, are there any questions about the Clicker Training Academy before we start the masterclass? You can unmute yourself. Remember, this is a recording, so if you are shy or don't want to be on camera, put it on the chat box. Okay, hi Trude, I read your message. Welcome. I don't see any questions. Just type no. I don't have questions. Just type no, so I see that there's some interaction, that the chat box is still working. I'll take a sip of water. Okay, no, not yet. I don't have any questions. No questions. Are you going to do in-person clinics ever? Yes, yes. I would love to do that. But I live in Burnaby, and in Burnaby, the demand for clicker training clinics is very small. And when I moved in 2012, there was no demand at all. I have done 2 workshops, but it was for me, it was really hard because I didn't have the network yet. And but yes, that is something that I would love to do in clinics. I've been to Caro, to Europe. When was it? Last year. And Caro and I had a VIP day. So yes, I will do in-person things. Absolutely. That's a goal. Absolutely. Catherine, not yet. Caro, not yet. Tony, no questions from me. Oh, Trude is also from Norway. Welcome. Perfect. Oh, I made notes. What do you get if you? I'm working on the software right now, so we can have the Clicker Training Academy on my website, clickertraining.ca. It's not filled with information and courses yet. I'm really busy working on that. So what you'll get right now, if you sign up for $19, is you get access to the Facebook group with 2 years of information and Motivation Mondays, Celebration Sundays, with lots of videos of people who shared. So there you will be busy for a few months to do all that. I have monthly training themes that are based on the 6 key lessons for trainers. I will talk about that later. And the 6 key lessons for horses. And I alternate those themes, and every month I have every week I have one assignment that matches that theme. So that's how you get better in implementing the concepts. Personal advice and feedback on your training, and also I will bring back the 2-week HippoLogic clicker training challenges with 2 weeks of practicing a certain chain of behaviors, which was also really fun. Those are $49 in value, so you don't have to pay extra for that. It's all included. Love the challenges, says Hilde. Yes, and I know Patricia loves them, and I love to do them too. So yeah, that's also how it started. Without the challenges, we were not here today as it is today. So that's really exciting for me. The masterclass. We are ready for the masterclass. So let's take a look at the concepts and how to implement, because implementing the knowledge is the biggest struggle, and mistakes are often made with the implementation. And I speak from experience. So just to let you know, I will explain the concepts in this masterclass. So this will not be a masterclass step by step, how to start riding with the clicker. That's more instruction. I will do that in the Clicker Training Academy if you need that, and then I will just tailor it to you. Now we will focus on the concepts. If you have a question, just unmute yourself and just ask your question, or because I'm not sure if the chat box, the chat box will get another color. Challenges are so much fun. Thank you, Patricia, for your feedback. Yes, absolutely. Okay, I'm starting to learn more about Zoom as we go. So these are the key lessons to success. This is my success roadmap, which I use in everything I do. So for the people who got the worksheets, this is one of the worksheets you could have printed out. You can just take pen and paper. This is the worksheet that you want to need. There will be a replay, so if I go too fast, just get the replay. Let's start. We have a goal. Our goal is to implement positive reinforcement in our riding. What do we do? What do we want next? We want clarity. Clarity is how can we implement that? That's super important. Once you have clarity, you get momentum and you can start taking action. Because if you don't know where to start, you're stuck. You keep sitting at home pondering how to use the clicker in riding, and you can think everything out. But what I noticed when I started doing this, well, actually, yeah, I did notice it, but when I started riding with the clicker, I had a feral horse. So I didn't ride. Kira was 11 months old. When she was 4, I started her under saddle. What came back immediately was leg aid, negative reinforcement. It was so ingrained in me, and everybody that is a rider is introduced that way. Tony is a starter, so Tony, I hope you can start with positive reinforcement. And positive reinforcement is often backwards. It's a different order. You start teaching a behavior, then you put a cue on it, and in negative reinforcement, the cue, which is really a command, is just an announcer of the aversive. And an aversive is something the horse wants to avoid. So leg aid, if you don't listen, more leg aid until you yield for pressure. So light pressure will be associated in the horse's brain with something really aversive. So we don't want that in positive reinforcement. we want it to be a cue, a question, and we really would love, that's the goal, that the horse always says, yes, great idea, I'm happy to serve you. And horses will, because they're hardwired social animals, so they love to please you, especially if you give them clarity, if they know what you want them to do. So riding with the clicker, so your goal is riding with the clicker. If you want to accomplish your goal needs to be in alignment with your values. I wanted to be, I'm very ambitious. I wanted to be an Olympic dressage rider when I was young. And, but I didn't get it done. I got so many other things done when I was a child. My free lease pony was sold in the Netherlands, in a country of 14 million people back then. I found him, and 3 years later I bought him. Or if I had a goal, I could do it. I'm stubborn like that. But the competition didn't happen. And it was only in my late 20s when I had a mentor who, and I was horseless at the moment, and she asked me, why do you want to buy a horse? And she really kept asking me in that why, because I love horses. Well, that's not a reason. Why do you love horses so much? And she kept asking me why. And we really got to the core, and the core is, I've written it down, and it's so beautifully said. Let's see if I can find it. Well, it comes down to what I really wanted in the Olympics was to show people harmony between horses and human, and how beautiful the bond can be, and how magnificent horses are. But in the dressage world, in the competition world, there's a lot of force. And when you use force on horses, the harmony is away, and it doesn't look beautiful. So I didn't realize that my goal didn't align with my values. So that's when I realized that, I found a fantastic Andalusian show team, and we started to do performances with Andalusian stallions, with classical dressage, and we could choose to show the audience what our horses were capable of and what our horses loved to share. So if you want to ride with the clicker, what's your value? Why are you doing this? I will just make an assumption that for now that you want to use positive reinforcement, because it aligns with your values. But the other question is, what do you want to accomplish in riding? Because riding with the clicker that's a goal. It's too big, too vague. Do you want trail riding? Let's focus on trail riding. Your goal is to trail ride with your horse. You need to have accountability, because otherwise, if you get stuck, you stay stuck. If there's somebody who asks you and can help you, like for the next step, and that's the only thing you need to know, basically. You only need to know your next step. Don't worry about 20 steps ahead. Next step is very important. Clarity. So what do you know? How can you change from traditional riding to positive reinforcement riding? So if you know how it works, okay, first in positive reinforcement, first you have the behavior, then you put a cue on it. That's how I taught Kira to respond to leg aids. I really wanted her to be a lesson horse because of my horse riding instructor background. So I didn't want her to train only by voice cues. My first pony was a carriage pony, a little hackney pony, and we did almost everything on voice commands, but that's hard for other people to use. on your horse. So I wanted to teach Kira the traditional leg aids. Let's get back to my train of thoughts. So what do? You first train the behavior. How you can do that? Make a training plan. The training plan is your overall plan. So if you want to ride with a clicker, it's really good to make a long list of all the behaviors you need to train in order to get to your goal, trail riding with the clicker. That training plan, for instance, can, if you don't have trail access, you need to maybe go over the road in order to get to where you want to trail ride. So you can write down that your horse needs to be used to traffic. Maybe you have to go to the forest by trailer. So in order to trail ride, trailer loading needs to be there. How does your trail look like? What does your trail look like? Does it have water? Do you need to teach your horse to go through water? Or you know, you have to do a lot of obstacle training and also de-spooking. So you can make an overall training plan. If you have that overall training plan, then you can divide that into pillars, like what's the husbandry skills? I need my horse to be healthy in order to trail ride. Therefore, I need to clean his hooves. I need to take care of him. The second is maybe traveling skills. So he needs to be good with traffic or with trailer loading if you need to transport him to the trails. Then there is the trail riding in itself that will be containing so many behaviors that you can train. For instance, maybe you have to go through gates. You have to teach your horse to walk beside a ditch or whatever. So you can think of all that. So that's your training plan. If you split everything in your training plan, then you have a shaping plan, and a shaping plan is what you can take to the barn to take action. So let's get back to the example of teaching your horse leg aids. That's what I love about classical dressage. They already knew it. Start on the ground and then implement it in the saddle. And with positive reinforcement, for instance, one way to teach your horse leg aids, and there's like multiple ways. But let's stick to one example so you have a little bit of a vision. How I did it with Kira is I started to teach her behavior walk, because that's what you want under saddle. You want forward movement. So walking, you can teach that by teaching your horse to go from mat to mat. Then key lesson mat training is very valuable. And instead of clicking when your horse arrives at the mat, that's what you do when it's a goal, you start clicking if your horse is moving towards. So you will reinforce walking. You can also teach this, for instance, with a target stick. If your horse follows the target stick, then you click and reinforce following, not the touching, because that's when it is a goal. You want to reinforce the behavior. So once you have the behavior and your horse knows, okay, the walking, it's the movement that will be reinforced. I like walking. If you do that over and over, I like walking. That's what they started to say. Then you can put a cue on it. And I started doing a verbal cue and also a body language cue. But the body language cue that you use on the ground is not very workable in the saddle, because your position, where you stand, and the horse stands, that's a cue for him. If you stand behind his shoulder or maybe behind him because you're doing long range, you don't have that in the saddle. You're on his back, so he cannot see you as well. So what helped me is the verbal cue will give your horse information, will give your horse clarity. So the first time that I sat on Kira with a saddle, I had a friend with me that could walk beside her and lead her on a lead rope. So I could say walk, and then my friend started to walk, Kira started to walk, I clicked and reinforced. And we did that. And because I had a clicker trained horse, my friend said after 2 minutes, you know what, you don't need this lead rope. So she unclicked the lead rope. That was the first time I sat in the saddle. I have sat on Kira's back before, because that's like all the steps before riding with a saddle. And then I did it again without the lead rope, and within 10 minutes I could walk her by myself in the arena. That was the first time I sat on Kira and used positive reinforcement in riding. I must say the preparation was very well done, because she was already used to long reining, and that's where you walk behind the horse with reins. So she already knew how to respond to rein aids, bitless. So that's how you can build it up. The trot, you do the same thing. So that's how you can teach your horse the gaits, walk, trot, canter, hold, whoa is exactly goes in the same thing. So that's your shaping plan for riding with the clicker. Action. In action, it's very important. You start practicing, and with the feedback of your horse, you will encounter emotions. You will, maybe it's fear from your horse. Yeah, and the gait told. Oh, I have questions for you about the told, because there is somebody who wants to learn how to teach their horse to differentiate between trot and told. And I do have some ideas, but I would like to hear that from somebody with even more experience in gaits. Anyway, distraction. Practice. You have to get practice, because only in practice, only if you take action, you get valuable feedback. Otherwise, it's book knowledge. You will encounter emotions in training. That's part of the principles of learning and motivation, and learning about horse behavior. How to recognize frustration in your horse, how to recognize excitement, overexcitement, fear, happiness, all that, relaxation, also in yourself. So you get feedback from the horse. Once you consider the feedback just as information, you don't have to take it personally anymore. Instead of thinking, oh, my horse was really rude to me, and she did it on purpose and threw me off her back, and putting labels and labels and labels on that behavior. The feedback, and that's also what I teach people, is information. And if you can step out of it and see it as animal behavior, then there is something that triggered it, then there's a behavior, then there's a reaction. If you can see it like that, the human emotions about if something happens that's undesirable is taken away. So instead of that you feel like a failure, or you feel that your horse is taking advantage of you, or even revenge, which is horrible feelings, and it's not necessary in training. So for me, I got valuable feedback from Kira. I also, one of the things that I learned, which was really interesting, is if you use stronger leg aids, the cue changed, of course, because a little bit of pressure feels different than more pressure. So what I've noticed over the years is that if I fell back in old negative reinforcement traditional ways of riding and used a little bit more leg aids, because I was impatient, because I saw everybody else doing it and getting results. sure, because they are doing negative reinforcement, so their horse responds better to accumulating pressure than Kira. With Kira, I was like, more pressure? I don't understand this cue. And I wouldn't get more of the behavior I had envisioned. So that was very valuable feedback. The way to learn best from that feedback is evaluation and writing it down. If you write down what happened, you get it way better in your unconscious, and you learn better, because science have proven, that's my human behavior that I love, science studies have proven that if you write things down, if you write a goal down, for instance, New Year's resolutions, the people who written it down, had accountability, were way more, they got to their goals, a bigger percentage who did that accomplish their goals than people who didn't write it down. And science also says writing it down just on pen and paper, old-fashioned like I do, will put it better in your brain than typing. Maybe our children or our children's children are good at typing, but there's something magical about using pen and paper and your brain. So feedback, very important. Also your own feedback, your own emotions. How did it feel? If it felt wonderful what you did, please write it down, because you will forget. And how I remember all my feedback, all my celebrations over the past, since 2009 with Kira, was I made pictures or videos of every little accomplishment that I have. So I indeed have a picture of Kira with a halter, and it reminds me of the first day I could approach her, or it was actually the other way around. She wanted to approach me and be haltered. I have a picture where I'm cleaning her hooves, because I know that week was the first week I could lift her legs and clean her hooves. And I'm really excited about it, even now, because those were huge accomplishments for me and for her. Maybe other people think, well, yeah, it's just cleaning hooves, nothing special. But to me and to her, it was special. And I have so many pictures, so many videos that remind me of all the good things, because I'm focusing on the good, because that's what I want more of. So I'm having fun with my horse. Next step. Oh, I think, did I skip something? Did I have? No, I didn't skip anything. So once you have a goal and clarity, your training gets meaning. It gets meaning to ride with the clicker, because it's aligning with your values. If you have clarity and you come into action, you get momentum, and that's where magic happens. And I'm super excited about that, and I've seen it happen with people in the Ultimate Horse Training Formula, your keys to success. That's what it was called back then. I've seen it with people in the accountability group. People get momentum once they have clarity and come into action. So, and that's also what the Clicker Training Academy is about. Come into action. And I'm here to support you in that. If you have a goal and you come into action, and because of the clarity, you get results. And what's the sweet spot? I'm super excited about that. That's number 4. Ta-da! Here you have everything. It's in my screen. It's not very readable. It's here with number 4, sweet spot, win, win, win. It is the spot where you get predictable and guaranteed success. And what helps is if you have your evaluation. So if you are training your horse, with positive reinforcement to be ridden, and you write everything down, you can teach the next horse, or you can teach your friend, you can help your friend, and you get guaranteed successes because you do that evaluation, which is very important because that reminds you of what went wrong, and more important, how did you solve it? That's your learning point. And me as clicker coach, I have all that access to everybody else's learning points. And that also helped me become very, very creative and think out of the box. If you have a challenge with your horse and you don't get to a solution, I have like immediately 10 things pop up in my mind. And if you come into action, tried all those things, and they don't work, because it does happen, the horse will give you feedback, and the feedback from the horse will lead to new ideas, to new inspiration. So now there's a little bit of an assessment that you can do. Oh, let's ask if there's any questions about this concept, about how to start riding with the clicker, what you have to do, and how you can really implement that. And I'll take a sip of water. Please use the chat box. If you don't have questions, just say no. Then I know that I can have a sip of water. No. No questions. Thank you. No questions. No questions. Christina, do you ever use any negative reinforcement? Ever? Like, for example, slowing a horse down? That's a really good question. Let's stick with that question. That's a good question. There's two different things here. There is the training part, and in the training part, it doesn't happen because I'm not focusing on slowing down with negative reinforcement. There are other ways to slow a horse down. Centered riding really helped me so much, because if you're on your horse's back and you move in sync with your horse, you can move out of sync with your horse. And if you do that deliberately, you can slow him down and the horse will follow your body movements. So is that negative reinforcement? Not really, because it's not aversive. Maybe it is if you're out of sync. I don't know. That's a discussion. Let's not go into that, because that's not really the answer. So if I train my horse, I won't use negative reinforcement, because that's using aversives and then taking the aversive away to create more behavior. In riding or slowing a horse down, negative reinforcement would be pulling the rein, and then if the horse slows down, letting go, giving. And then if you want more to slow down, then you will take the rein and do a half hold, or that's negative reinforcement. If you want to slow a horse, so imagine I'm riding on my horse and my horse really decides to go way faster than I want. I first start with my normal aids. If that doesn't help, then I'm kind of out of training and I'm more in a practical situation where I need my horse to slow down. Because Kira is super clicker savvy and super trained, and I am super trained of focusing on the slightest try. Because that's what happened often. People are sitting in the saddle, the horse goes too fast, they panic, and then they do what is natural and is pulling on the rein, because we all want to go into that fetus position, and that always implies pulling on the rein. That's just a natural thing. So that's a natural thing. You cannot really avoid that. The more confidence you have in the saddle, the better tools you have to avoid it, like centered riding, the less you have to do it, then it's still more punishment, I would say, because you're punishing the running and you would let go because it's a panic situation. So I was talking about the example, Kira goes too fast. I do notice, especially in the beginning, that the first intention is to pull. That's just also natural, also ingrained in years and years of traditional training. And I think it's also self-preservation that thinks this is the break. So I tried deliberately to breathe out, because breathing out will have like it's a scientific thing, but then you will slow the horse down. It can also be even a verbal cue. So that's what I use to slow my horse down. If Kira is a little bit in a panic and I'm fearing that she won't respond to soft aids anymore, and I do notice that she is slowing down a bit, I just use my bridge signal, and then it's like, where's my treat or a reinforcer? And that's just a fabulous emergency break. Any more questions? Does that help you, Christina? Other people, no questions? Yeah, for Christina, please let me know if that helps clarify things for you, because I would love to have some feedback. So there's a little bit of a difference of using negative reinforcement. Sometimes it morphs into punishment, because then you want to decrease the behavior. Sort of. I have background in dog training, so I have lots of questions about it I can ask later. Yes, please do. You can book a free discovery session with me. Go to my website, you'll find in the shop free discovery session, because I would love to have a discussion about this. I'm really excited about these kinds of discussions, and I always welcome them. And even if I don't have the answer, it will trigger my mind to find the answer, and that's how I learn. Outside information, feedback. So let's do a little assessment. Oh, now I'll just have to go wing it, because I forgot to print out my questions to assess. Shoot. Now what? I can try to find them. No, that will be way too much work. I will do it by heart. It will not be as good, but this is the idea. So the key lessons are based on all these pillars that I talked about. Here, key lesson. These are the key lessons for trainers. I have also key lessons for horses. Those are 6 key lessons for horses. Those are table manners, to teach them the bridge signal, and to have manners, safe behavior around food and treats. The second one is patience, to teach relaxation in your horse and a safe default behavior. The third key lesson for horses is targeting. The fourth is mat training, standing, teaching your horse to target his feet on a mat. Then there's backing and head lowering. Those 6 are key lessons for horses. A lot of trainers use them. I have 6 key lessons for trainers as well, because I think the horse is only half of the training. The trainer is the other half. So the principles of learning and motivation is one of the key lessons. the pillars of the HippoLogic training method. A training plan, I already explained what that is. A shaping plan, that's really splitting one behavior into tiniest steps that you can take to the barn and say, okay, horse, we're going to do this step by step. That's shaping plan. Practice, I made practice blue because I'm not there and I cannot practice for you. Practice is a part of the training that you have to do yourself. Feedback as well. In training, you get the feedback. I can help you maybe explain the feedback or translate the horse behavior feedback back to you if you show me a video. But also the feedback, the emotions in training, that's a part that lays in the trainer, in the student. Evaluation, same thing. I made it green because the evaluation is the training journal. I can help you, teach you how you can make effective training journals so they become your training tools and you can duplicate and replicate your successes. But the evaluation is your part. The results is also your part. It's up to you. And your values, that's very personal. Everybody has different values. So I can only speak from my values, what's important to me. And if they speak to you, you know that that we are a fit. If you don't have these values in your top 10, then we will probably not be a match. If you think results go above honoring the horse, then you will have to find another teacher. And accountability, that's where I come in. Again, that's also a key lesson. Everybody needs to find their accountability partner. In the group, I can be that for you, but even most successful business people, athletes, even Oprah, she has her own accountability and accountability partners because no one can do it without a community and support. And emotions in training. So here's the assessment. If you have printed the 2 worksheets, this is one of the worksheets. You can also watch the replay if it goes a little bit too fast. I have not the questions here, so I will just wing it. I have 9 great questions, so we'll just do it a little bit different than we'll just practice. I'll come into action for you. Principles of learning and motivation. If your horse doesn't want to do what you want him to do, what will happen? You will be green if you think, oh, I know exactly why my horse isn't, for instance, going into the trailer. I know exactly what reinforces him to do whatever he's doing. Maybe he's reinforced by a go-to motivation. He wants to be with his friends. Maybe he doesn't go into the trailer because he's afraid, and it's moving away from motivation. Move away from the trailer or move away towards my friends. I know exactly what motivates him. Then you can give yourself green. If you think like sometimes I know what's going on, but most of the times I have not yet learned to assess this as a feedback and objective feedback. So sometimes I do understand my horse, sometimes I don't. Then you can give yourself a yellow. If I ask you why your horse doesn't want to go into the trailer and do you know why, and you have like you think, I have no clue why, and I'm not interested in why, or I just don't know what it can be because yesterday he did do it. I've no clue, then you can give yourself a red. If in general, if you know exactly what's going on in your horse's mind, you have a green. If you sometimes do and sometimes don't, you can give yourself yellow. And if you have no clue, you can give yourself a red. Training plan. Have you ever written down everything you want to accomplish with your horse? That's your overall goal. If you have never even thought about it. If you're the person that you think, I just want a horse or I just want to ride, then you're red or a yellow. If you think, yes, I have some ideas, that's absolutely a yellow. If you say, I know exactly what I want, here, let me pull out my training plan, my 10-year plan, my 5-year plan, my 1-year plan, my 12-monthly themes, and my weekly assessments, then you definitely are green. Shaping plans. How do you assess your shaping plans? It's red if you say shaping plans. Can you eat that? Where can I buy that? I have no idea what you're talking about. You can give yourself a yellow if you think, I do have some ideas how to split it up, but if you notice that you get often stuck and don't know how to split it further, then you're absolutely a yellow. If you think shaping plans, well, let me pull out my, my binder. Which behavior do you want a shaping plan for? Then you're absolutely a green. Practice. How often do you practice? And because only action leads to accomplishments. So practice. Do you practice on a regular basis and focus on your goals? Then you can give yourself a green. If you know exactly going to the barn, I'm going to work on this. If that doesn't work, for instance, trailer loading, you know, it's stormy weather, it will not be successful today, so I will just train something else because I have multiple goals. I need to de-spook or train my horse to go to puddles and it's rainy, so for trail riding I need that. If you know exactly to have a plan A, B, and C, if you go to the barn, you're a green with practice. If you do have a general idea what you're going to do that day, if you have plans, then you're absolutely a yellow. If you go to the barn and think like, yeah, I wanted to do this and I ended up doing something completely different. If you have that all the time and you don't have a goal, then maybe that's a red. It's up to you what you give yourself. Feedback. If you exactly know what motivates your horse and what's going wrong, I don't like to use the word wrong. For instance, a trailer loading, feedback in emotions. Do you let your own emotions take over and think, you know what? I don't have time for this. I want to trail ride. I want to have my horse in the trailer right now. I don't take any of his emotions into account, and you take your negative emotions over, then I think that's a red. If you if you mostly are really, really good with controlling your emotions and recognize undesired emotions in the horse and even can lead them to desired emotions like fear, going to relaxation in your horse, it's a yellow. If you don't have any problems at all with that, give yourself a green. Evaluation. How often do you evaluate yourself? If you think training journal, what's that? Never heard of it. Never written anything down. I don't do that. I don't take videos of my training. I never watch them back. That's red. If you do write things down occasionally and learn from them, that's a yellow. If you say, well, training journal, do you want to know what I did last month and 2 months ago? I'll show you because this is my training journal. I have everything down. That's absolutely a green. Results, very interesting. Do you accomplish your equestrian dreams? If you say, I've written them down, I know exactly where I'm going, and I do accomplish them, green. If you think some of them I've accomplished, it's not really clear, give yourself a yellow. And if you think results, interesting thought. if I look back, I'm still doing the same thing that I was doing 10 years ago. If you're fine with that, perfect. If you think, by this time I would have accomplished X, Y, Z, then it's red. Values. Have you ever thought of your values in training? I think everybody here has thought of their values, because otherwise you would not be interested in positive reinforcement. So I don't expect any reds in this part. If you think, I'm not really sure what my other values are or how they really work in training and in my goal setting and in turning my dreams into reality, then you're yellow. If you think, I know exactly what my values are. I know exactly what my values are, and I'm using them every day in my training, then you are agreeing with your values. So in this way, you can have a little assessment. Are your little circles mainly green? Are they mainly yellow? Or are they mainly red? So recommendations: develop a strategy to turn your reds into yellow and your yellow into greens. I got the solution for you because I've been doing this for 10 years. I know that it works. HippoLogic Clicker Training Academy. Yes, I'm selling this today. It opens today, and I know I can help you if it aligns with your values. You're still here, so that's a good idea. That's probably a match. Ultimate Horse Training Formula, we start in September. It's an 8-week online course. I know Caro's done it. I know Hilda's done it. I've seen them accomplish amazing things, which really, I must say, Hilda and Caro are absolutely stars in shaping plans now, and also in planning their trainings. And I see how much it supports them. So I'm super happy to be a part of that journey of them. You can also book yourself a discovery session on calendly.com/HippoLogic, where we can talk further if this is a match, or please, Christina, book yourself an appointment in my calendar. Oh, Hilda says, learn from the best. Thank you. Thank you. So those are my recommendations, how to turn your reds into greens. Action time. I love this. Join the academy. Yeah, I have to tell you a little bit more, and then we will be ready for the draw of the giveaway of the $1,100 8-week program. So if you join today, what do you get? Where's my mouse? Oh, my chat box is in the way. The first 25, we are not even with 25 people in this live replay. So I can guarantee you that if you sign up today, that you will get that 90-minute additional private coaching session. Oh, Patricia said, great support when you join. I couldn't do without it. Thank you, Patricia. Patricia is, I think, since 2017 part of our small community, and I love that you're giving me this positive feedback. Thank you. So what do you get? Access to our Facebook group. At the moment, the most information is on Facebook, in the Facebook group, with personal advice and feedback, monthly training themes with 4 weekly assessments, so I can guide you through this whole system, and every time you get a little bit more, and you can do it in your own pace. you also get access to those 2-week-long clicker challenges that so the value is $3.99, and if you use the coupon code you pay $19. I'm all about people in the group that love to work with me. If you are not a match, you can find out for $19 and get that private coaching session with me. The difference between a coaching session and a discovery session is, in a discovery session we talk about the strategy in general, and I always give personal tip and advice at the end. In a coaching session I really dive deep in what challenges and struggles you have, and I really help you overcome those struggles with tangible strategies and step-by-step programs, whatever you need in order to move forward. I also am working on a forum, because in a forum you can always find your way back to older information that always stay, the principles of learning and motivation, they always stay the same until there's new scientific evidence, then we can change it. But then you can find, like, how do you teach riding with the clicker, and then there's a whole thread about that, and you can find it and you can be there, because in the Facebook it's one long thread and it's hard. Facebook is getting better, but the more information there is, it's harder and harder to navigate through that. So that's the reason to add a forum. And I will add online free online additional courses for you, like how do you pick your first horse is one that I find very valuable. Also, goal setting for equestrians is one that I will add later on. So if you sign up today, you will sign up for a monthly payment plan. First month with the coupon is $19, then the second months are $39. That's still less than $10 a week for personal guidance. My husband really helped me. He's very tech savvy, and he helped me make sure that canceling the automatic payment is made really easy, because I only want people in the group that want to be there. I love to have you moving towards energy and not moving away from. So let's get into action. I'm really excited about it. I'm a little bit happy that I don't have 100 people here, because that would take a long time. Hi Carol, great to see you back. You're in time for action. Okay, this is how I plan to do it. Let's see if it works. That was the book knowledge. I'm planning to find everybody in the group. If you put your name in the chat box, I will write your name on a little paper. I will put the paper in here, and I will just take one name out of it, because we're not with too many people. Let's see if I have an overview of how many people. 12 people. I have 12 people in the group, so the chances of you winning is 1 in 12. I know 2 people of the group that already done the course, so that will make your chance 10% for an $1,100 course. Please tell your name if you really want to be in that course, and if you're dedicated to have 8-week-long, 2-hour weekly live Zoom sessions and do the homework. Please do the homework. And then I will be happy to give away this valuable course to a person. So let's see. Kathy St. Jane. I've already written, yeah, I already had your name because I started to make these little things before 10 o'clock when people were arriving. So your name will be in here. Patricia Elkins, I've already noted your name down because you were early too. So you will be in here too. Next, Trude is Trude. Let's make a name tag for Trude. Let's find my papers. Yeah, here they are. I will hold Trude. Trude, you're in the draw. There you go. Sarah. Sarah was also a very, I already have a note for you because you were here before 10. So I start making names in the bowl. Nochi, you were also very early. So I already written your name down. That's what happens if people are early. Then you're short. Stacy, I have not written Stacy down. So Stacy, I will write your name down. I'm really excited about this. Christina, you will be added. Christina. There you go. Folding. In the bowl. Caro, I already put one with your name. You already did this course. You already did the advanced course, Clicker Training Mastery. So we will see what happens if I pull your name out of, because this is the prize. We'll see. Hilda, of course. Hilda was also early, so I already put Hilda in. So sorry, other people, your chances went down from 1 in 10 to 1 in 12. Everybody can join. Okay. Let's see if somebody else wants to join the draw. I do have a Tony, because Tony was, do you want to be in the draw? Yes, please. Okay. You will be there. And I also have one from Mimi, was also very early, so I put her name down. I don't see her anymore. Maybe she left the building or her computer. Well, I'll put her name in, but if she's not there, I'll draw somebody else. Are you ready? Rumble. Look at all those names. Not that many. Oh, somebody fell out. I take that as a sign. Ooh. Catherine, you're the winner. You're the winner of an $1,100 Ultimate Horse Training Formula. You can unmute yourself and yell. You are the winner. So congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. So Hilda is saying congratulations, Catherine. Absolutely. Please send an email. So I do have your email. You know what? Just stay until the end, and then we can contact, exchange contact information, or please send email just in case something will go wrong with technology right now. Send me an email, hippologic@gmail.com. Because I'm not sure if I haven't figured that part out. Private messaging, and I know that's a feature. So it's time to ask me anything. So you can ask me anything. Don't have to be about positive reinforcement. So you can unmute yourself. You can use the chat. It's still. Oh, you know what? I'll stop the recording. Let's do that and have a more personal conversation. I like that. So if you're watching the replay, sorry you were not in the draw because you weren't here. If you want to book a discovery session, feel free to contact me, or if you want to join, welcome. I will stop the recording. Bye. Thank you for being here.